I'm Caroline Dowd-Higgins. Thank you for listening to Your Working Life, my podcast series featuring thought leaders in the career and personal growth arena. I know that you spend a significant portion of your life at work, so I'm on a mission to provide you with tools, inspiration, and resources so you can enjoy your career and love your life. And I'm delighted to welcome my special guest to the show today. Carla Freberg is with me. Carla, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Caroline. I'm very happy to be here.
I'm glad you're here as well, and I want to tell our listeners all about you. Carla Freberg is a sales manager of the Vendor Services Group at Balboa Capital. She currently leads the Vendor Services Group that is composed of 24 account executives, 17 regional managers, 10 franchise finance managers, 3 program managers, and 3 business development representatives. That's a big group, Carla. Bravo. She's also a grad of Louisiana State University and has more than 12 years of professional experience in the equipment financing industry. And, Carla, I'm so excited to chat with you today because you have some very unique perspectives that I know will be beneficial to my listening audience. So let's get started. What roadblocks are smaller business and business owners facing when it comes to securing loans or financing today?
Well, Caroline, that is a great question. Credit is still tighter than before the 2008 financial crisis. So that's one, I would say that's one of the biggest roadblocks right now. We did conduct a survey earlier in the year. We sent it out to about 500 business owners. And we found that 22% of small business owners have found it difficult to secure business loans in 2014, um, versus 51% of small business owners have not even applied for it based on, the credit still being tighter. Money is available nowadays, but especially banks are still holding tight to that money.
I find it really interesting because we have more people jumping into business ownership than we have seen in American history. So it's a great time for new entrepreneurs, and they often need the resources of funding and loans to get themselves started. So how can these small business owners acquire funding for their companies if they can't get that traditional bank loan?
Well, small business lending has changed dramatically in the recent years. After the 2008 financial crisis, small business were severely affected with the decline in bank lending and were left with little options. But nowadays, it's probably good for companies just like ours, like Balboa Capital. We offer working capital, which is, it's cash money for new businesses, small entrepreneur businesses, that they can use for inventory financing, for payroll. And then we have the equipment financing options that it's money to buy their new equipment, which eventually will give them more sales revenue.
Right, right. I find it fascinating that you manage so many professionals in your area at Balboa Capital. I'd like to diverge a little bit and ask you, what's it like being a manager for so many people?
Well, very time consuming, I will tell
I
you.
bet it is, yeah.
Right now, as you said, it's a great time for our industry. We've seen it. We've just seen a great jump on vendors, on equipment manufacturers actually promoting financing and partnering with companies just like ours in order to offer the financing capabilities to their customers when they're buying their equipment. So we want to make sure we have the capability when it comes to human resources as well as personal to serve those vendors as well as their customers and help them increase their sales. Nowadays through financing, vendors and manufacturers have found that their sales are larger and more profitable. So we want to make sure we're investing in the personal and the people that are capable of bringing these accounts to that what they're expecting. Help them make
Right.
more sales, larger sales, more profitable sales. So it is, like I said, very time consuming. We invest a lot of our time in training these professionals as well as making sure we have the right people.
So, Carla, you were sharing earlier before we started on the show that, we're wrapping up the fourth quarter. This is the time of the year where small business owners are thinking about how they can finish strong. But from your perspective, what are some of the things that small business owners are investing in during this final quarter?
Well, that is a great question. Right now, traditional Q4 is a great small business owners spend a lot of time and a lot of their resources and their capital. It's like it's an investment period. They invest in inventory, they invest in personal. Actually, half of small business owners will add staff during the holiday.
And that's a misnomer. So many job seekers think, "Oh, they'll never hire me over the holidays." So I'm so glad that you said that because nothing's farther from the truth. Quite often they need to ramp up the human side of the business. And is that really because you just want to get them in before the new fiscal year starts, or it's just a good season to bring in good people? What's your thought behind that?
I would say probably both. They want to get them in before the fiscal year ends, and then obviously depend on what small business owners, what their products are. They need the personal to, there's a lot of buying during
Right.
during the Q4. It's either by because business owners are spending capital on equipment that they need to generate more revenue, and also they need more personal, more human power, either to create it, to manufacture, to sell it. It's a big push on the
Right.
on the Q4.
So, Carla, let's step back a little bit and look at the big picture. Do you have an idea, since you're really on the front lines, of what business owners think about the current state of the U.S. economy? Are they confident? We just went through a midterm election. In 2 years, we'll be electing a new president. What are your thoughts based on your customers about the overall state of confidence in the U.S. economy?
Well, Caroline, as a small business owner myself, I think that question will depend on what part of the country you're at. I can tell you in Southern California, I believe the economy has bounced back nearly to the levels before the crisis, with the exception of buying power. Sometimes I still think that families or small business owners don't have the income or the revenue that they had for before 2008. For example, a family that had an income of 100,000, now they're probably back at work but may be making a smaller income.
Yeah.
So I think the short answer would be yes. I do believe we are more confident, but we're still cautiously about it. I think some of the optimism is still lacking there, but it has definitely bounced back.
It is fascinating though, looking at it from the economist's perspective. It took a good long time for us to write that recession and figure out, how we could have a more stable future going forward. So these things take time, and I think even though I agree with you that things are better and we've gotten the numbers are looking more positively, and certainly unemployment is improved, there's still a long way to go, and we have growth potential. So that is encouraging.
That is correct. And going back to the survey I spoke a little earlier on our conversation about, I can tell you that 64% of small business owners do feel confident about the future of their companies.
That's encouraging.
Hmm.
So, how have small business owners fared in 2014 in terms of sales revenue, for example?
Well, I do think sales revenues have gone up. Um, we are again on our way to the levels that we were before. There's a lot of construction happening. We've seen a big jump on our side on equipment financing when it comes to the construction service, which is a good thing because those were one of the things that was hit hard when the crisis happened. So I do think the sales revenue has gone up. I think they're still working on getting where they are based on how they situated themselves in the crisis, but it's definitely moving forward.
Excellent. So, Carla, you mentioned that you are also a business owner. What advice do you have for those considering an entrepreneurial venture, especially knowing what you know in your professional role at Balboa Capital? What's a bit of wisdom that you would share for the aspiring entrepreneur?
Well, I would definitely say that right now it's a good time to be an entrepreneur. Again, the money is available for you to start. A lot of small business owners have different financing options that are available for them. Traditional, there is the conventional loans from the banks, the credit unions. There are the small business loans. There's technology-based lenders. Um, so right now would be the good time to start investing in growing your business. I tell everybody that I hire myself here, it is like right now it is the time to put everything in so you can get a lot of it back in the future.
Well put. You're investing for the future. Carla Freberg, thank you so much. What a pleasure to have you on. Solid advice for our entrepreneurs, our small business owners, and those considering that path. Tell us how we can learn more about Balboa Capital.
BalboaCapital.com and learn about our different vendor programs, which are our partnerships with the manufacturers to provide financing for their customers.
Wonderful. Carla, thank you so much. I wish you great success at Balboa Capital, and it was a pleasure having you on the show today.
Likewise, Caroline, thank you for having me.
And I want to thank all of you for tuning into Your Working Life, where my goal is to help you design your career destiny so it doesn't happen by default. True career and life satisfaction is possible, and it's time to embrace what you love doing so you can do more of it. I'm Caroline Dowd-Higgins. Take good care.